three-time naval man, but now he hates belly buttons, Craig Charles.
They say time goes quickly when you're having fun, and even quicker when you're mashing up robots, because here we are at the first of our Robot Wars semi-finals. Now, as you can imagine, our semi-finalists are an absolute bag of nerds. I've never seen so many robots rush off for an oil leak, and I even caught one robot here praying earlier on. Either that, or he'd stuck his hand together gluing his engine back on. But they've got every right to be worried, because each of our 8 qualifying robots fighting today has already kicked some serious robo-botty. Oh, yes. Let's see how they made it this far.
Raiding champs Chaos 2 blew away Atomic. Steg 2 used another flipper, and Mortis flopped in the heat final. Tornado was a real twister against the fancy Gemini twins, who were spiked. And next up, controversy. Suicidal tendencies thought they were through, but Wheelie Big Cheese got the decision of the judges. Pussycat created a major surprise, slicing through the razor. Thermidor 2 went supersonic against Chronic, the Wedgehog. Watch out for those claws. Firestorm inflamed opponents the Morgue, who thought they'd won, but they were wedged on the pit. Firestorm took the judges' decision. And last to go through, Dominator 2. These are our first 8 semi-finalists.
Tonight's competitors will face the usual knockout competition. The only difference being they're all psychos. I'd rather get in the ring with Terminator's big brother. And in the end, however, only 2 survivors can return for our grand final. Robot Wars the Armageddon. Yes, folks, it's time to pump up the carnage.
Craig, 5 seeded robots are into this semi-final. Firestorm 2 at the bottom of your screen there, seeded 5 against Dominator 2. Pussycat seeded 19 against Thermidor 2. Wheelie Big Cheese, our 15th seeds against Tornado. And Steg 2 seeded 7 against the big boys, Chaos 2, the reigning champions.
Looking cool, calm and collected as ever, we have Chaos 2 getting ready for their first battle. I've got to ask you, George, this is an awesome flipper you've got here. You won the last wars, you did very well in the heats. What makes it so special?
Most of the power comes from the fact that we're one of the few teams that use high-pressure gas, the full bottle pressure of carbon dioxide.
So you feed liquid CO2 into the cylinder?
Yeah, liquid CO2 straight into the rams. Yeah.
And that expands at like?
Yeah, 570 to 1.
So that's where you get that awesome kick from?
That's where the kick comes from, yeah.
And what else is another strength about your robot? I mean, it's small, does that help?
Yeah, the small size helps because the chassis is much tougher, being smaller. I can make it thicker and still keep under the weight limit.
And you look to be a very good driver.
Well, most of that is the electronics. I'm an electronics engineer. It's one of the easiest robots to drive because of the electronics.
And here is the opposition. It's Steg 2 from Hampshire, my county. Come on. Do you perchance pump liquid CO2 into your cylinders?
We do.
You do?
We do.
That's fantastic news, because that is the strength of Chaos 2.
Yep.
Really?
We
and
have
you've got
that
it.
too. Yeah.
But you are a bigger robot.
Yeah,
which means that you're probably less robust.
No, it's the way it's built. It's built with space-age technology.
Oh, all right.
So it is robust. I'm sure it's just as robust.
Because their key tactic is usually to just get people right out of the way, isn't it? Flip them right out of the arena.
Yeah. Happens to be the same tactic as ours.
Ah, but have you ever achieved it?
Not yet. But, you know, there's a first time for everything.
Seed number 1 and reigning champion, Chaos 2.
The fire extinguisher-powered CO2 flipper is one of the most powerful weapons we've ever seen. Only costs £250 to build. The ground clearance is a tiny 1mm lawnmower motors used to drive the top seeds.
Hi, the Chaos 2 team. We've flipped our way to the semi-final.
The robot's exactly the same as last year. Powerful flipper, good traction. We're last year's champions and we hope to do it again this year.
Rob Ramsey. Seed number 7, Steg 2.
They reached the semi-finals last time in a previous guise. Stegosaurus also has a CO2-powered pneumatic flipper, an electric 750-watt motor. The Shell Aerospace Aluminium is bulletproof.
Hi, I'm Rob. This is Pete. This is Danny. This is our robot, Steg 2. Received a little bit of damage getting as far as we've got. We're now through to the semis. We've had to make new polycarbonate top because it got a bit damaged, and our tail is being repaired at the moment as it got a little donk in it from Mortis, but hopefully it'll last to the final.
Roboteers, stand by.
Yes, Chaos 2. George Francis, Robot Wars veteran at the controls there, Ian Swan and his son Richard with him. And Steg 2 with Rob Heisman. He's the bearded man on the right-hand side, Dan King at the controls. Interesting to see whether or not Steg 2's power has been repaired. It is vital to them. Strengthened for this series of Robot Wars. Tries a flip, and Chaos 2 gets immediately in underneath Steg 2, and an 8mm ground clearance to attack, and Chaos 2 found that gap, and already we've seen the power of George Francis's flipper there. Chaos 2 tries to reply. We've seen the danger already of the reigning champions. There he is at the controls, an amateur physicist. He loves his astronomy, loves his photography, and takes a snapshot of Chaos 2 in trouble. Only momentarily, though, because it has the Streamex, so vital, invaluable for Robot Wars. A self-righting mechanism, and on the attack on Steg 2 again, pushing against the arena wall. Down comes Steg 2. Great battle, this. Flip and a flop. A hop, skip and a jump battle in the series semi-final. The first of our semi-finals in Steg 2. Just dragged into that CPZ, the corner patrol zone. Don't forget, the house robots can then come out and attack. You're knocked into the CPZ. Steg 2 on its side now. And that's the vulnerability of a Streamex. If you're topsy-turvy, you can use it. But once you're on your side, can the Steg 2 team, Rob Heisman, Dan King and Peter Rowe now right Steg 2? I don't think so. I think it's all over for Steg 2 after a very good opening few moments in this battle. Flipped up fight. The arena flipper there. It rolled 2 or 3 meters. Tries to right itself. Can't. Oh, all over for Steg 2. And they started so promisingly.
Steg 2 is definitely now extinct. Chaos 2 goes through. Your heart must have sank when you saw who you were drawn up against.
Yeah.
You made a great improvements on your robot since last year, though. You put a flipper on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you had him on his back.
Yeah.
But his self-right away. So does yours, though, as well, didn't it?
Yes, it did, yeah.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, a lot.
You did it against the reigning champions.
Well, they're the champions. I mean, we did well.
They are quite powerful, aren't they? And you did do well. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Steg 2. Well, that was okay, wasn't it, young man?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
George?
That's a bit tough, that one, yes.
It is a good robot, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very powerful, but...
Yep. Good fight.
Do you think you can do it this year? Do you think you can reclaim it?
Quietly confident. There's still several good robots out in the pit at the moment.
There certainly are.
The standard's much better this year, I think.
I think it's improving all the time, which is what's good about it.
Yep.
No robot has ever maintained the championship.
Well, this is only the 4th Wars.
Yeah, well,
So-
do you think you're going to do it?
It was a bit worrying when you picked this up.
I know, it's got a good flip on it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But your self-righting arm worked perfectly, didn't it?
Yep.
OK, we'll see you in the next round. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Chaos 2.
I think young Richard Swan, just 9, a pupil at Castle Hill Junior School, is the brains behind Chaos 2. Steg 2 out. Next up, Wheelie Big Cheese and Tornado.
On performance, this robot is one of the favourites for the title. You performed brilliantly in the heats, but you've made some changes.
Yes,
Why?
its response was a bit slow before. It was a slight delay between telling it to start or stop and it actually doing it.
Why was the delay in there in the first place?
Well, there are wheelchair motor controllers in there, and people don't like their wheelchairs taking off like Formula 1 racing cars. So we've taken out the delay, and it should now perform like... Well, we know it performs like a Formula 1 racing car now.
And this is more powerful than the flipper in the arena.
Yes, definitely. The flipper just sort of rolls them over, and we chuck them 6 foot or so up in the air.
And what do you think about your opposition, then?
I don't think he can do much to us, but whether we can catch him and do anything to him is an awkward question.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this one. Cheesy enough for you? Are we scared?
No.
I think they're pretty awesome, this opposition, because we've seen them in the heat, and they really have got a phenomenal flip.
We don't really think they should have won their last battle. It was a judge's decision, and we were among that part of the crowd that didn't really think it should have gone to them.
Controversial. So you're going to be showing them what for, are you?
Well, in actual fact, we think their opponent was better, so we're less scared of them than we would have been of their opponent with suicidal tendencies.
Oh, right. So please you're not up against them, at least.
Yes, yes.
Well, you've got an awesome robot. Dave here is the Storm Chaser. You might remember from the heats, he's scared of nothing. Not even the wheelie big cheese. You can pull a Land Rover, can you not?
Yep.
And there's a spike in here that will come at you and have had you before you even saw it coming.
Tornado.
Very powerful. With a low gear ratio, the pneumatic spike ram came from a loudspeaker production line. Welded steel and polycarbonate, and Tornado can whip up a storm.
Hi, I'm Andrew, this is Dave, this is Brian. We are Team Tornado, and this is our robot Tornado. To get here, we beat Caterpillar, Berserk 2 and Gemini. At the end of the heat, we had a little problem with our drive system, but it's all fixed now, and we are ready to go.